And joining us on the line, it's great to be chatting to him about his debut single. We've got Jason McGregor. G'day, Jason. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Clayton. Thanks for having me, mate.
It is a pleasure. So, Adam Brand's finally let you loose. You can do your own thing for a change. How does it feel to be stepping up in the world?
It feels good. He's been threatening for a while. But, it feels really good. It's nice to probably had this song in the can for a year or so, and obviously, there was a tour, and there was, lots of opening slots there planned to get this song out there, and then a bunch of other ones. But the world being what it is, just put it off for a year. But still super stoked to have something out there, and to start building an audience of my own as well.
Excellent. You've been Adam's guitarist for some time, and you've got to have a good relationship. I know that he helped you write this song. So what's that been like together? Has he given you his blessing? Is he encouraging you? What's he been like? Has he been the mentor, or is he just? What's it been like?
Anyone who knows Adam knows that he's a massive encourager and mentor for so many people. Whether there's anything in it for him or not, it doesn't matter. He's always encouraging people to do things. If he sees something in someone at all, he's not backwards in coming forwards and saying, "Hey, have you considered this? Do you want to do that?" And then, so far as being in his band and on the road, he's always been a massive encouragement. He certainly helped Matt Cornell, who country listeners will know, getting a bunch of songs out there. Helped him with basically coming over from being a rock guy to doing the country thing, and because he writes great stories and things. So and it's been the same thing for me. And when we're on the road, he sort of opens the stage and his audience up to let us open shows and do our own thing. And so we've just become this big sort of travelling family that way.
I get this sense from others that I've spoken to about Adam, and just kind of hearing in your voice there that it's not so much the big things that he does, it's the little things that he will say to you that no one else knows about, those little moments that you learn the most from. So am I correct in that? And if so, what are some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that I've always learnt a lot from over the years anyway from Adam is that his single focus, it shows, and the thing that he realises is really important is connecting with the people that are there.
Yep.
And I think there's any number of things that he could have done in life, but that would have been his focus. And he's always been really sort of surgical in talking to me and to many others about, okay, here's this thing. What reason are you doing this for? How are you going to connect with people this way? And just really being focused on that. And obviously he's pretty clued in business-wise too, so he can be quite helpful along the way. And if he can help join two people together or build the network, then he'll do that regardless of there being anything in it for him at all. It's been really fantastic.
I get the sense he's got a bit of a standard and he's got a voice inside your head. So when you were doing your song, you knew it had to be at a certain level. So did you have his voice in your head at times going, "No, it's not good enough, Jason, you've got to do it better"?
I actually probably had his actual voice right next to me for a lot of points of that. He was there in the studio when we were putting it down. So yeah, but he's kind of onto it with those details. It's just about the message and that being delivered clearly and not cluttered up in any way. And particularly for me playing to his fans, he's got a good idea of what works. And so it's been a really good learning experience for me that way. I'm really grateful.
Do you hope one day to have him as your support act?
I reckon he'd be retired by then. Hey, you never know.
So we'll make sure he gets to hear this. No, he won't. No, he'll be
he'd be fine about it. Yeah.
So he helped you. The two of you wrote the song. So how did that come about? I understand it was in a car. You're writing in a car.
We were on our way back from the airport from a gig, just driving together down the M1. Spent quite a bit of time, and we just got to talking about why we do this. And there'd been a few trips where you can fly for 4 hours and then drive another 4 hours to do one gig and then go home again. And sit there and go, well, why do you do this? And it kind of, I guess what we distilled it into was the great thing about music and about shows in particular is that people come there and they leave their cares at the door, and you take them somewhere else for a couple of hours and hopefully give them something else that, helps them decipher and deal with all of life around. And we just, Adam just started saying little taglines that sounded like lyrics, and then he said this one, these are the good old days that we'll drink to each year, and we sat there and thought about that and thought, well, yeah, that's kind of what we hope that we're going to be part of. Putting on these shows, maybe some of these things that we're doing that people are coming to, maybe those are the times they're going to look back on in years sort of gone by and say, well, these are the good old years, the good times. And yeah, by the time we'd gotten home, we had the lyrics for a song. I went home and, came up with a melody and some chords, and then we refined it a little bit. Basically, yeah, we got the song written in the day. So.
Remember the COVID years? Yeah, they were the good old days. Yeah, I'm sure.
The good old days, yeah right. I hope we're never saying that.
Yeah, but, neither do I, but I'm sure there's some maybe. And then one of the lines I love in the song too, and I love the video clip you've done for it as well, where you sing, "Look to the skies and drink to think about the ones we've left behind." The ones we've lost, rather. And that, and it just reminds me of my cousin and sort of members of our family, and we kind of feel like we're involved in this little group that's ever diminishing, because it seems to be every year on year that there's less of us having that drink and holding it up and that. So it was, when I saw that, you just took me straight there to those moments and to that particular moment, and so I just think that was a great little thing, and it just reminded me of that. Was that sort of part of the intention of that, and something that we all should do a bit more of?
I think so. I think reflection is really important. I think we get too caught up in, particularly at the moment, we get worried about what's to come ahead of us, and sometimes I think that comes at the expense of the moment that you're in. And I think stopping and reflecting on the past and thinking about, like you've said, people part of your family or group or whatever that maybe aren't with us anymore, but also just being together to realise that as time goes on, you get less of those moments, so you better make the most of them.
Exactly right.
I think that's important.
It is indeed. Well, you've got this song out at the moment, and that's why we're here, is what it's called. So, Jason, what other songs you've done this one with Adam? So, is this the way it's going to be? You're just going to get him to pop into the room or into the car and write song with you, or you're doing it on your own a bit? How's it going to work?
Look, I write a lot of stuff in all kinds of settings with different people, and on my own. The next couple I've got in the bag are kind of, they're things that I've written myself, but I definitely have plans for a lot more co-writes as well. But hey, if Adam's up for more songs, I'm always up. Always up for that.
So he might be asking your advice soon. You never know.
Hey, you never know.
So these other songs, what are they like? What tell us about you as a songwriter? Is it just about are you doing life story things? So what's influenced you to help you to become the songwriter that you are?
I like to have songs that make people think about things and overly positive. I don't try and I'm not a massively sad song guy, but and then from a musical point of view, before I was doing a lot of these gigs with Adam, I was a pretty pop sort of leaning guy, and I still have a lot of it in there. So if I'm, I want my songs to have catchy choruses. I want people to be able to sing them, and I want it to be positive without, but have a bit of substance to it as well. So hopefully that's the vein that we're going in for. The original idea for me releasing my EP, Hitting the Road with Adam, was that he kind of said to me, well, look, what I'd like from you is something, a set that sounds like something that people could really cruise out and have a great sort of Sunday Arvo sesh to, feel like, it's bright, it's up, it's happy, and it kind of just draws people in that way. It's a little bit warm, and so that's probably the direction that most of the things I'm writing at the moment are heading in. For that project. Yeah, well, you never know what's going to come out, but that's definitely what I've got in mind.
Who are the songwriters that have inspired you over the years?
I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of John Mayer. I always loved when I was growing up. I loved the playing, but also some of the writing of Keith Evans stuff. In the pop world, I really love Stevie Wonder and all of he's great songwriters. I love Casey Musgrave's stuff at the moment, like some of her writing and also production's really beautiful. And it's really sort of varied from that point. There's blues people I love, there's jazz people I love. Some of the storytellers in sort of country world I really love as well. Some of Alison Krauss's stuff that she's done with Robert Plant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've got a new album coming out soon too, which I got told the other day, and I was like, when? So I got to find out.
Right. That album was so stunning. Yeah. There's a guy named Leon Bridges whose stuff I really love at the moment. It's sort of a New Orleans-y sort of type guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the writing thing changes all the time. But I would say, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of John Mayer for a while, particularly for lyrical ideas and things. Even though he does write a lot of sad songs.
Yes, yeah, he does occasionally. Yeah. What about guitarists? Who's your favourite guitarist?
Well, I started playing when I heard Tommy Manuel's stuff, and then that was a massive thing. Before I ever had to sing for my supper, I was a finger picking guy, and I still do tons of that stuff. I really dig it. And then yeah, look, so far as players go, it's a lot of those same people. But I would say first and foremost, yeah, I was a Tommy guy, and then a Steve Ray Vaughan guy, and then I was a Brent Mason guy, and all a Larry Carlton guys, all these different styles. And every time I was introduced to a new style, typically, when I was a teenager, that just changed my whole world. I had to do that.
Yeah.
But that finger picking thing always stuck with me. It's always been a big, I don't know, it's just become a pretty central part of how I play and what I do. I'm really grateful for that influence, actually.
Do you give your guitars names? Because I know some guitarists give them girls' names, so are you into that category?
You know, I used to, but then you'd sit there and look at one that you named after an ex and go, we can't keep going this way.
Yeah.
So, I have given my last electric I got. There's a guy who builds guitars for me, Aaron Fennick. He's got a brand called Fennick Guitars, and they're absolutely beautiful, stunning instruments. And he built me this one that, and if you I don't know if you play guitar or not, but they can be quite easy or difficult to play. And if they're easy to play, you call them fast. You say, oh gee, the action on this is really fast. And so I've called this my last one because it's also red. I've called it Enzo.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
It's my 6-string Ferrari.
Yeah,
the naming thing. I was thinking about it the other day and wondered, gee, why have I gone off of naming them? Because I used to do it, and then I was like, no, I think that it's just a subconscious thing.
Well, guitarists, you all have your little quirks, and I just find it fascinating. Some don't, and some do, and that's. I just thought it'd just be interesting to find out. But Enzo,
definitely, Enzo's the latest one, but definitely got some quirks.
Yes, very much so. Well, Jason, it has been fabulous chatting to you. I'd love to keep chatting, but I think the dog needs to be fed, so you better sort that out. And,
yes, little bugger.
Yeah. So we've got your song here. I'm sure we're going to be chatting later on about some other tracks that you're working on that are going to be released. So I'm looking forward to that. And so if you could please introduce your song for all the Flow listeners, and thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Clayton. And here's my debut single, That's Why We're Here.
You've been working 9 to 5, a job you don't like. Well, I guess that's what most people call life. Now you're here with family and friends you've just met. So throw them down, let it loose, the hell with regrets. So raise your drink, raise your phone, oh. Take a selfie and send it to all the ones that stayed home. We're workers, we're soldiers, we'll never give up. Keep fighting, keep driving, through fire and through blood. These are the good old days, we'll drink to each year. Tonight for this moment, that's why we're here. Oh, look to the sky and drink to the ones we've lost. Thank God for freedom beneath this southern cross. We're workers, we're soldiers, we never give up. We keep fighting, keep driving, through fire and through blood. These are good old days, we'll drink to each year. Tonight for this moment, that's why we're here. Tonight for this moment, that's why we're here. With your best mate, you give your right arm for. Wrap that arm around them, 'cause that's what arms are for. We're workers, we're soldiers, we'll never give up. Keep fighting, keep driving, through fire and through blood. These are the good old days, we'll drink That's why we're here. That's why we're here tonight for this moment. That's why we're here.